And now it's time for the Valley Regional Healthcare Prescription Playbook. Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk, Jeremy Stout, Dustin Ribellini, and before we get into our Valley Regional Healthcare Prescription Playbook, we want to just let you know that we do have men's college lacrosse, Loyola, Maryland, at Bucknell, and I believe that's Saturday. Is that Saturday? Okay, I'm getting the nod. All right, before we get into it, David Price. We talked to Dr. Arvidsson and about David Price's injury. Clearly, something scary. It looks like it may not be completely shutting him down,
right,
but still not good.
Yeah, like we talked about with Drew Pomerantz, you heard that word, the tightness in the elbow. The first thing you worry, Tommy John surgery. It sounds like he's going to avoid that with some rest and some relaxation before he gets back on the mound. Then it's just a matter of how does the elbow respond. I think they have a plan in place where some rest and rehab will get it done. You just hope that once he gets back on the mound, there's no risk for bigger damage that would hurt him down the road.
All right, so we spoke with Dr. Arvidsson. Let's take a look.
Right, so he strained his ulnar collateral ligament, the medial side of the elbow, which does see a tremendous amount of stress in an overhead pitcher. Actually, in a windmill softball pitcher sees a fair amount of stress as well. With David, fortunately, it seems like things are healing and taking care of themselves, which that's where we start with almost everybody's. Let's let it rest, let's let it go, give it time, don't throw, work on your other conditioning for now, and we'll see how things go. And if it doesn't work well enough, then we go ahead and consider reconstruction. But we try to treat things conservatively at first, and then we'd move towards surgical if necessary. They seem to come in all different varieties. Clemens was several different varieties throughout his career and was still pretty effective at various sizes. I think one thing that happens is the pitchers tend to lose a certain amount of internal rotation just because of the way they slow down with their motion, and that can be worked with stretching to a degree, but almost every overhead athlete who's played more than 4 or 5 years, you can see that in their examination 20 years later that there's a difference. They certainly have to work on keeping their rotator cuff muscles strong and on keeping their legs strong, so that the sprint work they do, the squats that they do, building their glutes, hamstrings, quads, is just about as important as keeping the arm motion strong as well. The aging athlete is a real issue, and it's finding that compensation that works for people. I've seen baseball players playing for fun into their 50s and having a good time with it, but I think a lot of shoulders have given up the ghost at that point. I play a lot of tennis, and I see every year 1 or 2 of the guys begin to drop out or play in a different group because they can't swing their arm quite the same way. Sometimes it's stuff we can repair, and sometimes it's not enough we can really do for it. I'm Eric Arvidsson. I'm happy to be here at Valley Regional Hospital caring for patients.
All right, thank you to Dr. Arvidsson of Valley Regional Healthcare, the prescription playbook. Every week we have that. This week, obviously, it's very fitting with David Price starting, the injury to Pomerantz. As a baseball fan, not the doctor, not the medical, what do you think they should do? I mean, is it one of those things where he's going to come back in May or June, or come back hopefully before then,
right,
and then get injured again and then he's out? Is it almost like take the elective surgery and be done with it?
It's hard to say because Price is such a big key member of your rotation with that big contract. I think the biggest thing you see, and like Dr. Arvidsson said, there's so many innings that all these guys have thrown, especially Price, throwing a lot of innings. So maybe he comes back and you kind of monitor his innings a little bit. Instead of his first start out, putting him out there for 7 innings, you try to get 4 out of him. If he does well, that's fine. Because let's face it, the Red Sox need to have David Price in October more than they do in May or June. So I think they kind of build him back, 4 innings here, 5 innings there, 6 innings before you get him up to that 115 pitch mark.
Right, and it's going to take a lot of restraint because if you don't have a Pomerantz or you have question marks at the back end, you're going to have to just say, even if we're a couple games behind in the beginning of the season, we can't rush it.
And this team is good enough to get to the playoffs without a healthy David Price. They can still get to the playoffs.
Right.
Then once in the playoffs, they need him to be 100%.
Exactly, they're not healthy to win without him. So, all right, we'll take our final break, and then when we come back, we'll get into our Sweet 16 and Elite 8 picks of the Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.